Hi everybody, it's Tatiana. As you can see by the two bars beside me, I am back to my trusty dusty camera. Michael from Michael Reads in one of his vlog videos from either September or October, because I'm so behind in my subscriptions, I don't remember which month he recorded it in. But he explained it perfectly in stating that transferring videos from your iPhone to your computer is an extremely cumbersome process, and I'm over it. Normally get a camera a new camera every 4 to 5 years, and this camera is going on 11 years old, so I am well due for a new camera. I'm waiting on Michael to do his camera suggestions video. I have a camera in mind, but I do want to get his input because he's really into photography and videography, and my nose is itching, cameras, so I want to have his input as well because he knows what he's talking about. That was a very long introduction. Let me get to the point of this video. I am doing my wrap-up for September and October. I did not do a September wrap-up just because I wasn't in a good space. And so it's better for me just not to record, but as a result, it's been a long time since I've recorded a video. So this may be just a little more rambly than normal. I am not one of those people who can record a video and not edit it, because seriously, y'all, it would be long as hell because I talk a lot. So I do have some new subscribers. I want to say hello and thank you to all of you for subscribing. Welcome to my channel. And yeah, let's get into the wrap up. And I have a slight TBR for November as well. Only one of the books I read in September I own. I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by T. Jenkins Reid. I did enjoy the book. I didn't enjoy it as much as I expected it to, because I think it just fell victim to the hype train for me, with everyone having talked about it and having loved it so much and having raved over it, and I expected to enjoy it much more than I did. I liked the story a lot. I liked the way that it was written. I liked the strength of the main character, Evelyn Hugo, and yeah, I just didn't. And it could also be with this mental space that I was in during that time, because it took me almost the entire month of September to finish that book, which is unheard of for me. So, yeah, but I read that. I enjoyed it, just not as much as I wanted to. But I will be reading more by T. Jenkins. I keep wanting to call her TJ. By T. Jenkins Reid in the future, because I really did enjoy her writing style and the way that book came together, as well as the progression of some of the characters over the course of the story. I also read Night of Cake and Puppets by Laini Taylor. This is a short story that is set in The Daughter of Smoke and Bone, and it is the story of Caru's best friend, whose name is escaping me right now. Oh my gosh, I'm so horrible. It's the story of her and Mick getting together and how they started dating, which, if you have read the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series, that happens in the background while Caru is on a trip. I really enjoyed that. I love Laini Taylor's writing, and it kind of helped pull me out of whatever slump that I was in, reading, mental, emotional, whatever. Next, I read Invasion of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. This is the second book in the Queen of the Tearling trilogy, which I really enjoyed. The Queen of the Tearling. I liked Invasion. Is it the? Yes. I liked the Invasion of the Tearling. I just wasn't expecting the route that this took. However, I am very interested to see how this ends, because the story has just gotten much bigger than what we got in The Queen of the Tearling. And of course, I can't give that much information because of spoilers, but I did find myself enjoying or wanting to know more about one of the newer characters presented in this book versus Kelsey. I also read The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. I have been wanting to read this ever since I heard Stephanie from Time to Read talk about her experience reading this. It's a very short story. I want to say it took about 2 or 3 days for me to read this, and I purposely made myself take my time with this. It is told in vignettes from the perspective of Esperanza, who just basically shares the stories of the people that she comes in contact with while she's living in this house on Mango Street. There are some stories that are not as effective as far as how they make you feel than others, but there are some that just stick out so much and are so impactful. I really, really enjoyed this. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, because I have a problem with short stories, and part of my problem with short stories is that they can be too short and feel too unfinished, or you want more information. And while these did not feel too short or too unfinished, I did want more information on some of the people that she talks about in these vignettes, but I just really enjoyed this. And this is what I read for Hispanic Heritage Month, which went from September 15th to October 15th. I was hoping to get to the Isabel Allende book that I have, but yeah, that didn't happen. So yeah, this is all that I read. I wasn't not really that happy about it, but I did participate. I also read Hostage by, and I'm going to butcher this name because it's French, Guy Delisle. And I got a preview or snippet of this on Free Comic Book Day, and that little snippet that I got was so interesting to me. And basically, I need to read all of my nonfiction in graphic novel form. This is the story of a doctor who participated in Doctors Without Borders, who was kidnapped, and it is all from his perspective. It is extremely claustrophobic. He's held in a room for over 100 days as a hostage by the Russian resistance, I guess. And you go through his being, trying to be optimistic, trying to keep positive thoughts in his mind as to they're going to reach a deal soon. They're going to find me. I'm going to be able to go back home and be with my family. To the despair of finding out what they're actually attempting to do, the ransom that they're requesting, and the thought of, I'm not worth all of that. Don't pay that. This is because the work that we're doing is more important than just me. It's just being in his mind and in that room, and how he attempts to keep his spirits up while dealing with very difficult things. I was all for this. Thoroughly enjoyed this. I kind of buddy read this with Dee Dee from Brown Girl Reading, and this was read during, I unofficially participated in Dewey's 24-hour readathon. I'm readathoned out, but I was at home for the majority of that day, so that's when I read this. And I also read Witches of Richford by Paul Cornell. This is another short story that I finished during that Saturday for Dewey's 24-hour readathon. I did not like this. I kind of am interested in reading the sequel just to see, because it's 3 novellas. So I'm kind of interested in checking out the sequel to just see what happens, because I want to kind of see what happens with the relationship that these 3 women are developing. Not really so much with whatever the supernatural forces are supposed to be going on. It wasn't enough in here for me to give a shit about that. So, but I'm not going to buy it. If I read it, I'm going to borrow it on Overdrive. This won't be getting any more of my money. And I also read Now I Rise by Kirsten White. I am on the fence as to whether or not I will do an actual review of that, because it is the second in a series, but I kind of sort of want to do a full review of that because the little snippet that I gave in the wrap-up that I did after I read the first book was not that flattering because I didn't. The first book was interesting but boring, and yeah, I just decided that I'm going to actually do a full review of it because there's just too much that I want to talk about. So the other things that I started in October but did not get to the point of finishing, which are on my short TBR for November. I started Lilith by George MacDonald on my Kindle. I am about 46% into this story. I was hoping I was going to finish it. It is not as creepy as I was expecting it to be. It was written in the 1800s, and right now it's giving me Alice in Wonderland vibes, even though I've never read Alice in Wonderland, but for what I understand the story of Alice in Wonderland to be, I do have that. I just haven't read it yet. It's giving me Alice in Wonderland vibes from what I understand the actual written story to be and what I have seen in the movie renditions of it. And I think it's also going to give me some Narnia vibes coming up because I am 45% in and I still have yet to meet Lilith. And from what I remember of the synopsis that I got when I first heard about it and said, oh yeah, I might want to read that, is Lilith is White Witch-like from Narnia. So I'm thinking that I'm going to also get some Magician's Nephew vibes in this as well. So taking this into November, as well as, and I took the dust jacket off because I'm currently reading it, The Nethergrim by Matthew, I don't know if it's Hoban or Jobin. I need to look that up. I am this far into it. This is how much I have read thus far. I am really enjoying the way that this is written and the background that we are getting on the characters. I did an entire gush about this on my Instagram. And what made me want to read this, I'm not going to gush about it here, but yeah, I am just super excited about reading this, and I've started it, and I'm still excited, so that's a good thing. And then lastly, on my TBR for November, I don't really do TBRs, but The Fate of the Tearling by Erica Johansson is on my TBR. This is on it because this is one of the series that I definitely wanted to finish in 2017. So if I don't get to it in November, guess what? You will see it in December. This is the last book in the trilogy. So I have to finish this year so that I can meet this goal. Because this was on the list of what I wanted to finish. So anyway, yeah, I have talked for a long-ass time. I am going to go. It's glaringly obvious that it's been a long time since I've recorded a video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good weekend, whenever you see this video. Peace out.